I never know what to say in the beginning and the end. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi guys, I am so excited about this video. I've wanted to make it for so long now. I'm also not excited about it though because it's hard. But I think there's so many people that have a similar experience as me, and so I want to be a part of that conversation and share my story and hopefully hear from other people who've had a similar experience, because that will help me heal. And I think even making this video will help me heal. I may cry, I may not, I'm not sure. So I was planning on breastfeeding my first baby. I was really excited about it. I went into it knowing absolutely nothing. So we signed up for 3 classes to take. One was on birth, one was on just like your newborn, and the third one was breastfeeding. But we took the first 2 and then ended up not getting the third done because he came. So I definitely should have been more diligent about doing it. I literally had no knowledge of breastfeeding. I kind of just assumed the nurses and the doctors would really help me and that it would come naturally and that it would just work out. And I had it in the back of my head that it might not work out, that there was a chance that it couldn't. And I knew that some women had tried, and for many reasons, it sometimes doesn't end up working out. But I didn't think that would be us. Again, I didn't do anything to prepare. I mean, I got a pump, I got a haka and nursing bras and all the things. So I was committed, but really naive, I think. So he was born, and within a half hour, I put him on, and it was uncomfortable, but they said that's normal, and it wasn't super painful or anything. And I was like, well, I could see this getting better. I've never done this, obviously, so I just am assuming it's gonna get better. And so going into the second night, my nurse had warned me, he's probably gonna cluster feed tonight, just so you know. So he was on me for 2.5 hours straight the second night. And I was in so much pain. I was just weeping, and I didn't know how to keep going. I couldn't have kept going. And I called my nurse in, and I was sobbing, and I was naked, and I was smelly and dirty and wet and just a mess. And she was like, let's just give him a bottle because you need to sleep. You're going crazy. He needs to eat. They brought me a pump, so I was pumping every time we would give him a bottle. So was continuing to tell my body to bring in the milk. It only got more painful from there. By the 3rd or 4th day, it stopped feeling raw and more just painful. Like, it wasn't necessarily the skin. I never bled. It was just painful. By the 3rd or 4th day, it just hurt. Multiple people had told me that he didn't have a tongue tie or a lip tie. I was suspicious that he did based on what I was looking up online. Prior to giving birth, I had seen many videos about breastfeeding and the baby having a tongue or lip tie, and many people telling that parent that the baby was fine. And then they would go see a specialist, and the specialist would say, this is really bad. I can't believe nobody told you that they had this. Seems like tongue and lip ties are kind of overlooked in the general medical community. I don't know if that's necessarily true across the board or what, but 3 lactation consultants, his pediatrician, multiple nurses who are lactation certified, my OB. I was asking everybody. There was like 7 or 8 people who told me he's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong. Looking at him now, it definitely looks like he has a lip tie. And I wonder if that is why things were so painful. And I also asked all those people about latch, and they all said his latch was great. Again, from what I was looking up, his latch did seem great. But again, it's like I'm looking these things up as it's happening. I should have gone into it with more knowledge. Mobby. So I breastfed him for about 2.5 weeks total. and it was excruciating the entire time. I was constantly so anxious, just anticipating him getting hungry. I would feed him, be sobbing in bed, sobbing through the feed, and then sometimes would end up having to give him a bottle if I wasn't able to do it anymore, and then wait and just be an anxious mess until he had to eat again. And then I was also trying to figure out pumping. I think I definitely was pumping too much and at too high of a level. My milk came in great. I was making a lot of milk, but it was just the pain. And I wonder now, looking back, if the pumping was irritating the pain as well. So I was just consumed by this pain and the anticipation of the pain and just everything to do with how I was feeling physically. It was inhibiting me from being a good mom. It was inhibiting me from being able to enjoy this baby, to enjoy the first few weeks. So I was getting help virtually from a woman through my pediatrician's office and a lactation consultant. I didn't want to see anybody because it was the second surge of COVID, and we have this new baby, and so we didn't want to see anybody for many reasons. So I was like, okay, if it is a tongue or lip tie, we have to go to a specialist and get diagnosed. It'll probably take a week or two to get in, and then take a week or two to make an appointment for a correction, and then all this therapy for him, all the stretches you have to do after to heal them. I was just so done already. I was like, I can't go through this. I can't wait this long to not be in pain. It really was traumatizing. And when I use the word traumatizing, I'm referring to an event that causes significant distress and disrupts everyday life and the ability to do normal things. So there was just so much happening already. Alec and I are adjusting to our new dynamic with this third person, this little baby. We can't have as much help as we would like or how we'd like because of COVID. We're exhausted. I'm in pain everywhere. I'm still recovering postpartum. We don't want to get sick. So it was the best decision to start formula feeding exclusively. I was just like, this poor little baby, he's obviously stressed because I'm trying to figure it out, and I just want him to be able to eat stress-free. And obviously they have a learning curve too. They come out and have to learn how to eat, and they've been fed for 9 months without having to do anything. So it's okay if they get a little frustrated and have to learn how to eat, but I think my stress and anxiety and sadness, he could definitely pick up on that, and I think it was upsetting to him too. I was heartbroken, and I still am. I remember sitting at my parents' house on the couch with my brother and his wife and my parents. Alec stayed home to get some rest, and I had brought the baby to get some help, and so I could get rest too. I just broke down in front of my family, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. I don't know what to do, but I can't do it anymore, and I really don't want to give up. But I feel like I should. I feel like that would be the best thing. And they all encouraged me to start formula feeding exclusively, and they were so helpful and so comforting. And ugh. But I just felt so broken down in every way. Physically, I'm still healing. Again, I'm still healing postpartum and it's in so much pain in my breasts, mentally, spiritually. Lord, I thought you made me to be able to do this. How am I not able to do this? I felt like I couldn't do something that I was meant to do and that I was made to do. I felt like less of a mom. So even though it was so clear that I needed to make the switch to formula, I still was having so many moments of, and still do, could I have done better? Could I have tried harder? What could I have done differently? Was I not willing to do anything for him? Sometimes I wish I had stopped sooner, and 2.5 weeks isn't a super long time, but it feels like an eternity when you're super tired and you're trying to figure all this stuff out. So other times I really wish that I just kept going and just pushed through. A lot of times I tell myself, could I have pushed through it? Could I have done it? I am so thankful that I did get to breastfeed for those 2.5 weeks, and I will cherish the memories that I have of him looking up at me, and the few times I was able to do it and it didn't hurt. Yeah, those moments are really special to me. I think it definitely helped establish our bond, and so I'm thankful for the little time that I got to do it. I have had to grieve not being able to do this. I'm still working through so much of it. I still don't understand so much of it. I still don't understand so much of what happened and why I feel the way I do, and just still feel like I'm healing. I'm in therapy right now for a number of things, and so we haven't addressed this yet. And we're definitely going to, and I'm excited to continue to work through it and process it and heal. I still have thoughts that aren't correct, that aren't the appropriate way to think about this. Things like, I should have tried harder, and I didn't give my best, and things like that. So I think that there is so much weight put on breastfeeding, probably from social media and just pressure from doctors and nurses, and just certain language that's used, like being asked, are you breastfeeding, instead of how are you feeding? Breast is best. My pediatrician said that to us in the 2.5, somewhere in the 2.5 weeks, when I was explaining to him that we were doing both, and that I was thinking about stopping completely. And he was like, well, breast is best, but he'll be okay. And I was like, well, if a doctor's saying that to me, what? Something that was really helpful, though, I went for my 7-week postpartum appointment, and my OB, who also delivered him, I was telling her the story, and she said I had the same exact experience, and she was like, I had to stop. And she was like, I know you get so much pressure from us, the doctors, from nurses, from friends. It's just the thing to do now. She was like, don't listen to any of that, because you have to do what you need to do to be the best mom for him, to be present and to be loving, to, like I said before, enjoy him. So she was really helpful, and it was really not shocking, but kind of almost shocking to hear a doctor say formula feeding is best in this situation, and you should do that and own that. So that was nice. There's so much weight put on the fact that it's the best for the baby nutritionally, that when someone's not able to do it, they're left thinking, I didn't do the best nutritional thing for my baby. And that itself puts so much shame on that mom. And so, I mean, even on the cans of formula, it's like breast milk is always recommended first. And I'm thinking that they have to say, maybe someone can confirm this, I'm thinking that they have to put that on there, because it's on every formula that I've looked at. But I'm like, geez. So I do know it's true. I know that my worth doesn't come from being a mother, period. I know that my worth as a mother doesn't come from whether or not I breastfed. Something that has really helped me in this whole process and experience has been this Instagram page called The Formula Mom, and her name's Mallory, and she's so amazing, and she has a similar story to mine, and she just posts really helpful tips and words of encouragement and just so much information, and just is amazing. And so that has been key in me learning a lot about what I've experienced and how so many other moms have experienced it also. It's been key in helping me reverse my thinking and how my mind has been kind of trained to think that breast is best, end of story, period. I have all my breastfeeding things in storage, and whenever I see them in the basement, I'm just kind of like, oh, what do I do with you? I still have many moments of guilt and shame, feeling like I could have done better and I could have done more. So I'm obviously still in process about this. Actually, more babies are formula fed than breastfed, and so I was surprised to learn that. I'm like, it feels like everybody breastfeeds because nobody talks about formula feeding, because it's honestly, I think a lot of people feel ashamed. I feel ashamed. So much to learn and so much to continue processing and thinking about, but my baby's being fed, my baby's growing, my baby's developing, and he's doing amazing. Most importantly, I'm able to be there for him in a loving, kind, patient way that I just couldn't do when I was breastfeeding and under that stress. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up this video because that baby is fussing, and I'm so glad I got to share this experience with you, and if you've had a similar experience, please share it in the comments. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!